the army goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won, and the army goes rolling along. And it's high, high, hey, the army's on its way. Count off the cages loud and strong. For wherever we go, you will always know that the army goes rolling along. First to fight for the right and to build the nation's might, and the army goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won, and the army goes rolling along. And it's high, high, hey, the army's on its way. Count off the games on its run. For wherever we go, you will always know that the army goes rolling along.
First.
All right, folks, welcome. My name is Jen. I'm from Golden State Times. I am the host of the stream, and I'd like to say good morning and welcome to another live stream here at Golden State Times. So this live stream is going to be regarding immigration, folks. Immigration. So it's going to be starting very, very soon live from the White House. So make sure you guys please share this live stream on social media. So make sure you guys share it, give it a thumbs up, and all that good stuff. Thank you so much for tuning in here to Golden State Times for this live stream. We're going to be giving shout outs to everyone that shares the live stream on Facebook and also on Twitter. So if you'd like to get a quick shout out and as a thank you from us, make sure you share this live stream on Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Reddit, any of those social media sites. It helps us immensely, but also don't forget to click the thumbs up button because that helps us out a lot too. Thank you so much, folks. I'll be switching it over in just a few moments. Once again, this is a White House press briefing on immigration. All right, so don't miss it. We'll be back on microphone in just a few moments to give shout outs to everyone that is sharing the live stream. But for now, we're going to be switching over in just a few moments. Thank you so much.
Very much. Thank you very much. We've had an exciting time. It's been incredible. And as you know, we just hit the highest we've ever hit on the Dow. The stock market's the best it's ever been. Jobs are the best they've ever been. A couple of other little factors, not so bad. We're doing great, and we have a great military, and I thank you for that. And I want to thank Marilyn. She's been a friend of mine for a long time, and she's done an incredible job, and she just did me a beautiful favor, keeping it a beautiful Sikorsky plant open in the great state of Pennsylvania. Some people would say Commonwealth. I'll call it both. But all I know is they're really happy in Pennsylvania right now. And we love Pennsylvania, and I really appreciate what Maryland did. I'm thrilled to be back in your great state, a state that I won, and we won it not so late in the evening, a little bit early in the evening, actually, which is even better. And we had a lot of support from your company. Durco has been incredible. We have a lot of support here, and one of the reasons I'm here is Marilyn. One of the reasons I'm here are you, because we really have had tremendous, there's a great spirit in this company. We're here today to celebrate the triumphant return of American manufacturing. You know what they said, it was going to be gone, but it's not gone. It's really thriving, and it's starting to build up at a level that nobody thought was possible. Everything we're doing to keep the assembly lines rolling full speed ahead, that's being done, and we're doing it right. We're proudly defending our most important national resource, the American worker. That's what it is. It's pretty amazing how the American worker has just really, there's nobody like our American worker. We're glad to be joined today by Secretary Wilbur Ross. Where's Wilbur? Wilbur, how are you? Thank you, Wilbur. Great job. A friend of mine and somebody who's very, very tough and very, very smart, Senator Ron Johnson. Ron, thank you. And two real fighters. They fight for us, and they fight for you, and they fight like nobody. Representatives Glenn Grothman and Sean Duffy. Sean, thank you, Sean. Thank you.
All right, folks. So just give me a second here. We would like to give a big thank you. We would like to give a big thank you to Bubba Jones. Thank you so much for your support through Super Chat. All of our live streams, I think it's like the last 1 or 2 live streams that we've done and this one. These live streams are user supported, folks. Viewer supported. And because YouTube is just, you know, you guys know the drill, how YouTube is doing to a bunch of channels, including us. So thank you so much to Bubba Jones for keeping us alive and doing live streams, because these live streams are viewer supported, folks. So thank you so much to Bubba Jones one more time for your support through Super Chat.
Fellas. Thank you. I especially want to thank your general manager here at DERCO, Peter Winkler. Peter? Good job. They were showing me some of the work they do. It's beautiful, it's complex, and it is real stuff. That's the real deal, right, Peter? For 40 years, the Patriots of DERCO Aerospace have built and repaired parts for airplanes, jets, and helicopters, and you have done it with unmatched precision and unmatched skill. Really an incredible company. Recently, our entire nation was inspired by the mastery of your craftsmanship during our wonderful Independence Day celebration on the National Mall. It's called a Salute to America. That was something. They weren't sure, the fake news, they weren't sure if people were going to show up. Did they ever show up, right? Did they ever show up? We had a tremendous, it was packed, and it was raining. It was, people said, did I have a tent? Because I looked very dry. I said I wasn't dry and I had no tent. It was a rainy day, but in a way it was a beautiful day. And when those planes and helicopters flew overhead, it was something like we haven't really seen too much lately. There's tremendous spirit and love in our country. That day, the United States Marines soared overhead in a magnificent aircraft like the ones you support from here in Milwaukee, the MV-22 Osprey. Our country also witnessed the awesome might of the U.S. Navy flying another plane that you will soon support, the unstoppable stealth F-35 Lightning II.
All right, folks. So we have footage from inside the press briefing room where there's going to be a press conference on U.S. citizenship and immigration by the acting director of that organization. So give me a second here as I switch over for you folks. So we got footage from inside the press briefing room, and we're going to be putting it up on your screen. All right, folks. So this is live footage once again from the press briefing room where, let me just give you a little bit more information on what's going on here, folks, so you can get an idea. So U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services Acting Director, his name is Ken Cuccinelli. I hope I said that right. Or Cuccinelli. I don't know. But his last name is Cuccinelli, I believe. He is going to brief reporters at the White House regarding U.S. citizenship and immigration. So this is very important, folks, as immigration is going to become very important from beginning now till the election. It's going to be one of the key things that all candidates, including President Trump, is going to be talking about. Immigration is going to be a very, very hot issue for the 2020 election. So we're just going to have to see what U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services Acting Director Ken is going to be talking with reporters in just a few moments. So if you guys can please share this live stream on social media, that would be amazing. On Facebook, Twitter, Gab, Reddit. If you guys share it on Facebook or Twitter, I'll give you guys a quick shout out as a thank you for your support. Let me see if there's anybody. 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 Let me sharing it right now. Once again, this is live footage from inside the White House press briefing room. Oh, here we go. We have, we're going to give a shout out to The Sun. Thank you so much, The Sun, for sharing the live stream. Let's see. We also want to give a big thank you to Moonlight Girl. Thank you so much for sharing the live stream on social media. Something Wicked X, thank you so much for sharing the live stream. Ralph Lee, thank you so much, Ralph, for sharing the live stream. Moonlight Girl, once again, thank you so much for your support in sharing the live stream. Dr. Scott B, thank you so much for sharing the live stream. Jojo, thank you so much for your continued support in sharing the live stream. Tony and also Barry, thank you so much for sharing the live stream. Number one Patriot Mamba, thank you so much for sharing the live stream on social media. Cry Me a River Snowflakes, thank you so much for sharing the live stream on social media. We also like to give a big shout out to James. Thank you so much, James, for sharing the live stream on social media. Let's see if we have anybody else here. I think that's it for now. So thank you so much to everyone sharing the live stream. Oh, here we go. CQ, thank you so much for sharing the live stream. Jason, thank you so much, Jason, for sharing the live stream. R. Sager, thank you so much for sharing the live stream. Let's see, who else do we have on here? I think that's it. All right, folks, so if you share the live stream on Facebook or Twitter, I'll give you guys a quick shout out as a thank you for your support. It should start very soon. It's scheduled to start very, very soon. So make sure you guys please share this live stream and also give this live stream a thumbs up. Thank you so much, folks. And like once again, it should start very soon. I'll give more shout outs to if I see anybody sharing the live stream on social media. Thank you so much. All right, folks. I would like to give a big thank you to everyone that is sharing the live stream on social media, on Facebook and Twitter and Gab and Reddit. Also, thank you so much to everyone that gives this live stream a thumbs up, because that helps us out a lot too, folks. It's like a package thing. So if you give this live stream a thumbs up and you share it on social media, you say hello on the chat, then YouTube has no choice but to show this live stream to more Patriots. So if you'd like to help us out, all you have to do is click the thumbs up button. Also, share this live stream and say hello in the chat. That shows YouTube that you guys are interested, that you guys want to watch this, and it shows it to more people. So if you'd like to help us out that way, you can do so by just those simple steps, just sharing the live stream, giving this live stream a thumbs up, and sharing it on social media and saying hello in the chat. Also, if you would like to help out Golden State Times stay in operation, because these live streams are viewer supported. So if you'd like to help us out, there's a few ways of doing it. One is through Super Chat, or you can also help us on a monthly basis through membership. You get a Trump hat right next to your name, and also you get to use our custom emojis. You can check out our emojis, by clicking the emoji button on the chat, you can check them out. If you want to see what emojis we have available, those are all custom emojis by us. And also, you can do so through our website, goldenstatetimes.com. So if you want to check that out. Thank you so much, folks. Once again, it should start very soon. I'm going to be giving more shout outs to everyone that is sharing the live stream on Facebook or on Twitter in just a few moments. Thank you so much. All right, folks. So we would like to give a big thank you to Paul. Thank you so much, Paul, for your support through Super Chat. You keep us alive, Paul. Thank you so much for your support. In the chat, sound off. What city are you guys tuning in from, folks? What city and what state are you guys tuning in from? Sound off in the chat. We're doing a roll call right now, folks. So we here at Golden State Times are from the great state of California. Yeah, we do have a lot of issues here in California, and a lot of people don't like California because of the people that represent us, but it's not our fault, folks. It's been like that for a long time, and we're fixing it here from the great state of California. Don't worry, we're going to turn it around, but we want to know what city and what state are you guys tuning in from? Sound off in the chat. Represent your city, folks. Where are you guys tuning in from? All right, folks. So I see that there's a lot of Patriots from all over the country. We have Michigan in the house. We have Texas and Ohio and Oklahoma in the house. We have Reno, Nevada in the house. I saw Orange County too. Very awesome. Orange County, California. There you go. Let's see. We have Detroit, Michigan, the great state of Detroit, San Antonio, Texas. We have Santa Monica, California. There you go. Representing Santa Monica, California. The Bay Area, Montreal, Canada, Georgia. Let's see. From heaven. All right. Omaha, Nebraska. Okay. Welcome, 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 folks. Florida, Illinois, let's see, Quebec, Canada. Welcome to all of our Canadian brothers up north. Let's see, Tennessee. We have Tennessee in the house. San Francisco's in the house. Italy is in the house. Worldwide, here you go. Let's see, who else? Virginia, California, Pennsylvania, East Tennessee, Arizona. There you go, Arizona. I bet it's hotter than... I bet it's hotter than heck in Arizona right now. If it's in California, I think the highest has been out here in California is 105. I wonder how hot it's been in Arizona in the last few weeks. Let's see, who else do we have on another California here? Louisiana, great state of Louisiana, Pennsylvania, New Mexico, Colorado, Florida, Massachusetts. We have, let's see, Miami, Florida, Barbados. Well, welcome. Welcome, welcome, Patriot from Barbados. Huntsville, Alabama. Huntsville, Alabama in the house. All right, folks. It should start very, very soon. As you guys can see, Deputy Press Secretary just popped his head in to see who's actually in attendance to this press briefing. So make sure you guys stay tuned. 104 yesterday in Georgia. Wow, that's crazy. 117 in Arizona, someone says here on the chat. One of our Patriots from Arizona says 117. Wow, that's crazy. Uganda, Tampa, Florida, New Mexico. All right, folks. Thank you so much for sounding off and representing your city or the state where you guys are watching. And once again, we should start very, very soon. This is scheduled to start in the next 5 to 10 minutes, between 5 and 10 minutes. Hopefully they come out during that time, but that is the scheduled time. So make sure you guys go get your coffees, your teas, your whatever you're going to drink, maybe even some popcorn, because you never know what is going to happen at this press briefing, folks. Immigration is a very hot issue right now, especially with all the candidates. So make sure you guys stay tuned for this, because this is going to be very important. Something this early it means that there is going to most definitely be some type of announcement. We don't know 100%, but something this early, it's very important. So make sure you guys share this live stream on social media, give this live stream a thumbs up, and say hello in the chat if you haven't yet. Thank you so much, folks. I'll be giving more shout outs in just a few moments. If I miss it, if it starts before I give out shout outs, I'll do it at the end of the live stream. Thank you so much, folks, and I'll see you on the chat.
so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, folks. So we would like to give a big shout out here to James Edwards. I apologize. Thank you so much for your support through Super Chat. Our live streams are now viewer supported, folks. So by the support of James and others that have been supporting us through Super Chat, thank you so much for keeping us on the air. YouTube is making it more difficult every single day for us to live stream and upload. So all of our sponsors that you guys see coming up on the ticker, everyone that supports us through PayPal or everyone that supports us through Super Chat, thank you so much for keeping us on the air now that YouTube basically wants us off the platform, but they cannot find an excuse to kick us off. Because we don't break the rules. We don't do any of that stuff. We try to be and follow all of YouTube's rules so they won't kick us off of the platform. But the way that they're doing it is by demonetization and making sure that our live streams and our videos don't get sent out to all of our subscribers. That's one, and that we are not found on search. So thank you so much to all of our sponsors, all of our members, and everyone supporting us through Super Chat. You guys keep us alive. Thank you so much. All right, folks. So let me ask you guys a question before this starts. Let me ask you guys a question. Drudge and others have been saying that Texas might turn blue, just like Orange County is starting to become left-leaning. Orange County was a very big Republican county in California. Now it's starting to go almost blue. Not quite, but almost. Do you guys think is the same exact thing is happening to Texas right now? Let me know in the chat. Do you guys think that those people like Drudge and others that are saying that Texas might turn blue, do you think that that is 100% true? Or do you think that it might happen in the future, but not for the 2020 election? Let me know in the chat. when I saw that supposedly that Texas was turning blue, I always thought that that was not true. That was fake. There is a lot of truth in a lot of people from California leaving to Texas. There's a lot of left-leaning people that were leaving California and going to Texas, but I don't know if that will make it, if it will be enough people going to Texas to turn it blue. I don't think so. Maybe not now, maybe in the future at some point, but I'm sure that Texas, as of right now, still will continue to be red. But if more people start leaving very liberal cities from California, New York, and other places and going to places like Texas or Oklahoma or any of these other states, it could potentially turn them blue, but who knows? Let me know in the chat what you guys think about that.
And people to enforce long-standing immigration law. Today, USC United States. It will also help promote immigrants' success in the United States as they seek opportunity here. Throughout our history, self-reliance has been a core principle in America. The virtues of perseverance, hard work, self-sufficiency laid the foundation of our nation and have defined generations of immigrants seeking opportunity. They seek opportunity here. Our current law, which is generations
Throughout our history,
old, self-reliance has been a core principle in America. The virtues of perseverance, hard work, self-sufficiency laid the foundation of our nation and have defined generations of immigrants seeking opportunity in the United States. Our current law, which is generations old, recognizes that some new arrivals to our country need the help of their family and community. It requires some of those who seek to live and remain in the United States to have a sponsor who will be financially responsible for them. Case of my own family, my Italian grandfather played this role, sponsoring two of his cousins, Mario and Silvio, to come to America. Once they arrived, my grandfather wanted to make sure his cousins spoke English, certainly well enough to work, and enlisted my father in that effort as well, to make sure they could speak English well enough to work, and they did. My family worked together to ensure that they could provide for their own needs, and they never expected the government to do it for them. And this same hardworking spirit, shared by countless immigrants who've made the U.S. their home, is central to our American identity. This spirit's also been rooted for over a century, well over a century, in our immigration laws, going back to the 1800s. Since 1996, the law has required foreign nationals to rely on their own capabilities and the resources of their families, sponsors, and private organizations in their communities to succeed. However, Congress has never defined the term public charge in the law, and that term hadn't been clearly defined by regulation. Well, that is what changes today with this rule. Through the public charge rule, President Trump's administration is reinforcing the ideals of self-sufficiency and personal responsibility, ensuring that immigrants are able to support themselves and become successful here in America. Our rule generally prevents aliens who are likely to become a public charge from coming to the United States or remaining here and getting a green card. Public charge is now defined in a way that ensures the law is meaningfully enforced and that those who are subject to it are self-sufficient. Under the rule, a public charge is now defined as an individual who receives one or more designated public benefits for more than 12 months in the aggregate within any 36-month period. For instance, receipt of two different benefits in 1 month counts as 2 months. A public charge and admissibility determination is prospective and looks at whether an individual is likely at any point in the future to become a public charge as we define it in the regulation. Public benefits are defined as federal, state, and local, as well as tribal, cash assistance for income maintenance, and a small list of non-cash benefits. Some examples of the public benefits that are part of the rule are general assistance, SSI, SNAP, most forms of Medicaid, and certain subsidized housing programs. Significantly, the rule does not consider many forms of government assistance that protect children and pregnant women's health as public benefits. Generally, this includes emergency medical assistance, disaster relief, national school lunch programs, WIC, CHIP, Medicaid received by people under the age of 21 or pregnant women, as well as foster care and adoption subsidies, student and mortgage loans, energy assistance, food pantries, homeless shelters, and Head Start. It's important to note this rule will apply prospectively only to applications and petitions received starting on October 15th of this year. Once this rule is implemented and effective on October 15th, USCIS Career Immigration Services officers, what we call ISOs, will generally consider an alien's current and past receipt of the designated public benefits while in the United States as a negative factor when examining applications. However, receipt of certain non-cash benefits received before October 15th will not be considered as a negative factor. The underlying statute, passed on a bipartisan basis, also requires officers to assess, at a minimum, each applicant's age, health, family status, assets, resources and financial status, and their education and skills, as well as other factors set forth in the rule in the totality of the circumstances. The totality of the circumstances means that officers will assess all of the evidence related to these factors, and no one factor alone will decide an applicant's case. Most of these factors are the ones Congress mandated us to review when considering immigration benefit applications. Under this final rule, USCIS will be able to objectively determine whether an applicant is likely at any time in the future to receive public benefits above the designated threshold. Importantly, this final rule has no impact on humanitarian-based immigration programs for refugees and asylees. No impact on refugees or asylees. And it clarifies the exemption for trafficking victims and victims of domestic violence. Congress has long carved out exemptions for these categories, and our regulation adheres strictly to the laws as written. The final rule also excludes from consideration public benefits received by certain members of the U.S. Armed Forces and their spouses and children, as well as Medicaid benefits for emergency medical services. Lastly, under the final rule, USCIS can permit an applicant seeking a green card from inside the United States who's inadmissible only on the public charge ground to adjust their status to that of a legal permanent resident if they will post a public charge bond. So to conclude, I'd just note again that generations of immigrants have strengthened the foundation of our country and making positive contributions today, and we expect that to continue in the future. Through faithful execution of our nation's long-standing laws, President Trump's public charge inadmissibility rule better ensures that immigrants are able to successfully support themselves as they seek opportunity here in America. Throughout our history, Americans and legal immigrants have pulled themselves up by their bootstraps to pursue their dreams and the opportunity of this great nation. As President Trump delivers on his promise to uphold the rule of law, this administration is promoting our shared history and encouraging the core values needed to make the American dream a reality. And with that, I'm happy to take some questions. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Cuccinelli. As you know, the primary focus of the president throughout his presidency has been on illegal immigration. The focus of what you just outlined in this proposed rule is on legal immigration.
Yes.
Why the change in focus?
Oh, this is not a change in focus. This rule goes all the way back to executive orders from early in 2017. It's been a long, arduous effort. If you take a look at the fully printed item, it'll make War and Peace seem relatively short. It is very thorough in the first attempt to put into operational effect all the different factors that Congress itself has said we're supposed to consider when deciding admissibility or inadmissibility. I would also note, as the head of the agency responsible for naturalizing citizens, the step after legal permanent residency for many people, last year we swore in more American citizens than the 4 years before it, and this year I expect to see similar numbers again. So we've not at all laid off of, in the Trump administration, processing properly legal immigration. I think what you've seen and heard more discussion of illegal immigration, but we've been pressing ahead, and this rule is an example of that. Yes, ma'am.
Is this rule a rule change, an admission from the administration that going through some sort of route to reform legal immigration by legislation is moot?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. This is an implementation of a law passed by Congress in 1996 that has not been given a meaningful effect. 1999, some guidance was put in place with a presumption a rule would follow. The rule never followed. And so today we're issuing a rule which, as I said, for the first time, really puts meaningful meat on the bones of the 1996 law passed on a bipartisan basis. This does not substitute for congressional action in other areas. For instance, I mentioned asylees are not covered by this rule. Asylum is a major subject of focus for us in my agency, and with the crisis at the border, we've been all but begging Congress to take action to close loopholes, some of them the same as the Obama administration. That has not happened. So in this narrow area of our responsibility, we're relying on congressional direction, and we've, as I said, put meat on the bones here, I think, today. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. I have two quick questions. First, I was wondering if you could give us an update on what's happening with work permits for asylum seekers, people whose cases haven't been adjudicated yet.
They're being processed in the ordinary course of business. So,
is there regulation coming, though, to address this?
We're working on other things within the agency right now, but I'm not prepared to speak to where those may end up today. Sorry. Yes, sir.
Question, if I may ask.
Oh, you did say two. All right.
There were recently workplace immigration raids, and of course, President Trump, his first prison commutation went to a man who was arrested after his business failed when about 400 illegal immigrants were arrested. Did that decision to grant a prison commutation to this man send the wrong message to employers?
I'm not really prepared to speak to that. I don't think so. The president does those one person at a time. I think what you saw ICE do this week in enforcing the law meaningfully with 7 operations across the state of Mississippi, and of course investigations still ongoing, criminal investigations growing out of that, is a growth for ICE from the previous year. Their enforcement efforts are up, and I think you can expect to see more of that as part of the message of this administration. We're going to enforce the law. Yes, sir.
I also do have 2 questions. The first regards the concern that the public charge rule is going to be enforced by the chilling effect on people. For example, if a man has a citizen daughter who might be eligible for either nutritional or housing benefits, he might be afraid to apply for those benefits his daughter is due. How do you respond to that concern?
That's an excellent question. With the receipt by a citizen in the household of public benefits will not affect the consideration for a particular alien as a general matter. So the citizens in that household, again, and their receipt of public benefits don't affect consideration of an alien as a general matter.
So you're not concerned about a chilling effect?
If you look at just the first page of this rule, you'll see we start out by pointing out the things that are not covered. And we will have on the USCIS website now and forevermore a clear listing of the two. So anyone who has any question about whether the receipt of a particular benefit would be considered in a consideration, for instance, if they applied for a green card, will be able to easily find that from our website, and it is part of the message we're broadcasting. It's why I talked to you and listed so many of the items we don't cover. I hope you all will cover that as well. Yes, ma'am.
I had regarded this idea. Sorry, Mr. Chen, if I might.
Yeah, all right. So then I'm new to this. This will be it for 2 questions, then we're going to go to 1. But I said yes to you. Go ahead.
The second question has to do with the fact that as long as the public charge rule has been in effect since the late 1800s, there have also been, almost as long, the words at the base of the Statue of Liberty that read, "Give us your tired, your poor." You were implementing a public charge rule for the first time. Is that sentiment, "Give us your tired, your poor," still operative in the United States, or should those words come down? Should the plaque come down off the Statue of Liberty?
Well, I'm certainly not prepared to take anything down off the Statue of Liberty. We have a long history of being one of the most welcoming nations in the world on a lot of bases, whether you be an asylee, whether you be coming here to join your family, or immigrating yourself. This rule will cover, for USCIS, almost 400,000 people a year whose applications to become legal permanent residents will include a meaningful analysis of whether they're likely to become a public charge or not. I do not think by any means we're ready to take anything off the statute of liberty. Yes, ma'am.
Could you elaborate a little bit on how big of an issue this is, how much this is costing U.S. taxpayers to have immigrants receiving benefits? And also, there's millions of Americans who accept public benefits. They have difficulty paying for health care on their own, for example. So why is that different for someone who's in this country legally, who's struggling to, have certain needs met here as well?
So the benefit to taxpayers is a long-term benefit of seeking to ensure that our immigration system is bringing people to join us as American citizens, as legal permanent residents first, who can stand on their own 2 feet, who will not be reliant on the welfare system, especially in the age of the modern welfare state, which is so expansive and expensive, frankly. So that self-sufficiency that has been a central part of the American value set for so long is critical for us and for taxpayers going forward. That's part of the motivation for a rule like this. It's part of the benefit that goes all the way back 140 years. This rule, as I said earlier, simply puts meat on the bones of that consideration.
Is there any
Yes, sir.
dollar amount you can give, though, but what does it cost
No,
the
because
taxpayer?
the benefit for taxpayers is forward-looking. The costs we do that you'll see in this rule are costs of implementation. They're not the benefits in having more American citizens 5, 10, 20, 30 years down the road who are more self-sufficient and less dependent on the welfare state. Yes, sir.
How much leeway will the case officers have when they're kind of seeing this? So obviously you said it'll have a negative score, it'll have a negative
Yes.
impact on their application, but will the caseworker still be able to say, John A., I know you took this benefit, but you will still be eligible for a green card, or is it pretty much, sorry, that's just the rule?
No, that's an excellent question. This is a totality of circumstances test. It means that the welfare benefits we've been talking about here are one factor. I listed the others that Congress has itself put in the statute, things like age, health. We basically rely for health on the legally required medical exam. But it is career immigration services officers that are going to be making these decisions, and they're going to have to weigh all these factors together. The change under this rule is we're finally giving guidance that brings all those factors together that really hasn't been effectively done up until today. Yes, ma'am.
How many refugees does the administration plan to admit in 2020? And also, are you considering eliminating the refugee program altogether?
I can't imagine anyone would ever consider eliminating the refugee program altogether, and Congress would have to do that anyway. The number for next year needs to be decided by the end of September by the president, and I don't have any insight into what that number will be at this point in time.
Just real quickly,
Sorry.
Critics are saying this policy is unfairly targeting the lower income immigrants. How do you respond to that?
Well, we certainly expect people of any income to be able to stand on their own 2 feet. And so if people are not able to be self-sufficient, then this negative factor is going to bear very heavily against them in a decision about whether they'll be able to become a legal permanent resident. A poor person can be prepared to be self-sufficient. Many have been through the history of this country. So let's not look at that as the be-all and end-all. It's not the deciding factor, which is why we continue to use the totality of circumstances test. Yes, sir.
I just want to circle back to this question of a chilling effect. You talked about the question of whether a citizen in a family gets benefits, that wouldn't be used against somebody. But take the case that immigration advocates, I think, use a lot of a family that are in the country legally, they haven't yet gotten their green cards. They are in need of services, whether that be medical services, whether that be housing services to keep them off the streets, so to speak. And they are going to now be fearful of using the services to which they are legally entitled under the law, because there's no way to determine 1, 2, 3 years out from when they might apply for their green card, whether how much they're likelier not to get a green card if they use the services. So the fear is that there will be a wave of people across the country who will decide not to use the services sort of affirmatively that they're entitled to, out of fear that it'll ultimately come to bite them. And how do you counter that if in fact you want them to use the services to which they're entitled, or is this really a sort of effort to say this is a whole class of people that shouldn't be using any services at all?
Well, in your description, you described a situation where government benefits were basically allowing this family to hang on, that they're not self-sufficient. And while if we go forward a few years and look back at that situation, because remember, we essentially start counting October 15th, with the exception of things that would have qualified under the 1999 guidance, which is fairly narrow, then that's what we're trying to avoid in the future. Now, even under the circumstances you describe, if you're talking about an applicant who has the skills necessary to make their own way and to work their way out of that situation, that's a case they make to the career caseworker, immigration services officer. But we do want to avoid looking to the future a situation where people who are adjusting status do in the future become dependent on those public benefits. We're trying to avoid that situation going forward.
But as I understand it, the public benefits are there as a bridge, right? Like the public benefits aren't designed for people to be on them forever. They're designed to be on them to help, whether you're an immigrant or not an immigrant, they're there to help folks for a time. So are you saying that if you're an immigrant, your advice to them is don't take benefits because this is going to count against you?
No, I was using your example of where they need them, and there's it's their foundation financially, as I took your description, and I would say that the entire legal immigration system is designed by Congress for the benefit of America, and what we're looking for here are people who are going to live with us either their whole lives or ultimately become citizens, who can stand on their own 2 feet with the same sort of requirements that we've had in the past for well over a century. So, yes, sir, in the middle.
Will the different benefits be weighted differently or treated differently? Say, if someone uses Medicaid, will that be held against them more than, say, if they use food stamps?
So, not the benefits, no, but the use of benefits over the 12-month period in 36 months would be a heavily negative factor. There are negative factors, heavily weighted negative factors. There are positive factors, heavily weighted positive factors. I'll give you an example of the other side. If you have private health insurance, that is a heavily weighted positive factor. Those do all weigh in, again, in the totality of circumstances. And obviously, we call the more heavily weighted factors heavily because they matter more than the others, but they go in both directions. Yes, sir.
We've heard outspoken critics of the administration's immigration policies before, but it seems increasingly we're hearing from U.S. Catholic bishops who are showing their concern. Now, you're Catholic. When you hear the bishop's concern, does it give you any pause when you consider carrying out some of these policies?
It doesn't give me pause about implementing the laws that's already been put in place, and particularly given the long history. I used an Italian example from my background. The other half is Irish. So, I'm very familiar with what the Catholic bishops have to say on this subject, and they certainly are vociferous. And I would say, as a Catholic, one of the things I'm proud of is that my church has been one of the best supporters of people in this country before we had a welfare state. So I don't see that changing. And I don't see any conflict with enforcing the law as it's written. Yes, sir.
Can you address the Latino community? Some of the Latino community already feel they're been targeted. You have the El Paso shooting, you have the raids in Mississippi. But as John noted before, the issues before were if you were here illegally. Now this obviously extends to legal immigration. Why shouldn't the Latino community feel targeted by this?
Well, first of all, this is a 140-year-old legal structure. We're dealing with the most recent iteration of it, but this is not new. This was the same question might have been asked when my Italian immigrants were coming, immigrant ancestors were coming, and all through that 140 years. So we're not doing anything new here. We're simply making effective what Congress had already put on the books. So there's no reason for any particular group to feel like this is targeting them. This will apply across the
That this
world.
will apply to more Latinos than any other, likely more Latinos?
Well, if we had been having this conversation 100 years ago, it would have applied to more Italians. It would have, you know, we can go, well, that's just fine. I think that the divisiveness may be more rhetorical, and I hope that you all in your role will help cure that with some of how you report it. Yes, sir. I'm going to take two more.
Real quick.
Yeah, go, right here. Orange tie.
Thanks, sir.
Sorry, orange tie.
Right here. Thank you. Former Vice President Joe Biden said that the United States could easily take another 2 million refugees. He's made these kind of comments in the campaign trail. Does the Trump administration have a threshold that they would like to, how many more immigrants and asylum and refugee people that they could take?
There's no comprehensive number out there at all. The only things with formal numbers are the earlier question, say about the annual refugee number. That happens every year. Of course, we're taking in, I want to say, around 1 million plus a year right now. And I can't really speak to Joe Biden's personal opinion, but we don't have some target number that we're working with here, if that's your question. All right, last question. Yes, ma'am.
Public charge new rule impact future applications? For example, would there be a higher bar for a U.S. citizen to prove that they can financially support a family member for family-based immigrant visa?
So what you would normally have in the family circumstance is you'd have an affidavit of support. So they wouldn't necessarily fall into the category of being addressed by the public charge rule, because if they have an affidavit of support, which has been scrutinized by a USCIS officer, and it is believed that sponsor can in fact support those identified at over 125% of the federal poverty guidelines, which is the standard, then that would be the end of the discussion as it relates to that sort of an application. It's an excellent question because it addresses a huge piece of legal immigration in this country. Thank you all very much.
All right, folks, thank you very much for joining us and choosing us as your stream of choice. As you guys heard, these new rules for you to get a green card if you are an immigrant coming in. So let us know what you guys think about this in the comments in the chat. And also, don't forget to give this live stream a thumbs up. If you missed the press briefing, we're uploading it on the channel right now. If you just joined us today for the very first time and you guys liked our coverage, make sure that you guys subscribe to the channel and you click the notification bell. Thank you so much, folks, and I will see you guys later on. We're going to be uploading a whole bunch of news videos on our newsroom channel. So it's Golden State Times Newsroom, folks. We're going to be uploading a whole bunch of news videos later on today. So make sure you guys stay tuned for those. Thank you so much to everyone that was supporting us through Super Chat. Thank you so much for your help. That helps out immensely, folks, because these live streams from now on are viewer supported. And we rely on our sponsors. You guys can see all the Patriots that help us out at the top of the ticker. Our members, and also those that helps us out through Super Chat. So thank you so much to everyone for your support. Also, thank you so much to the moderators for keeping the chat clean and enjoyable for everyone. You guys do an amazing job, and I'd like to thank you so much for your hard work. All right, folks, I'll see you guys very soon. Peace. All right, folks. Once again, if you missed the press briefing regarding the new rules to get a green card here in the United States, then we're uploading it on the channel, and I'll put it onto the chat in just a few moments if you guys missed it. It's being uploaded right now. Thank you so much for choosing Golden State Times as your stream of choice. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and you click the notification bell. That way you can get an update, hopefully from YouTube, when we go live or we upload any videos. President Trump, as his schedule sits right now, he has nothing on his schedule. But that could change at any second. It's still very early in the day, so it could change. But as of today, right now, he has nothing on his schedule. President Trump is on a 10-day, pretty much working vacation. It's called a vacation, but he doesn't want to call it a vacation. He says that he's working for the American people through this. So for the next, now 8 days, he is working very hard, but there has really nothing on his schedule other than a rally on the 15th. So we are going to have a White House. I'm sorry, I can't even think. It's too early. We're going to have a Trump rally on the 15th from Manchester, New Hampshire. And we're going to be streaming it live here at Golden State Times. So that is coming very, very soon. So make sure you guys join us for that. Thank you so much, folks, and I will see you soon.